So I'm going to discuss 3 signs you may, in January, be told, I want a divorce, space, or separation. But mostly divorce, because January is divorce season.
Attorneys, like divorce attorneys, they recognize the first Monday after New Year's as the day when everybody comes in for that.
They're never on vacation in January. Okay. So, first sign, you have a sexless marriage. Okay. Why did that happen? Because there's no emotional connection. Okay. Now, can there be other reasons? Yes. Can there be physical, all this? I always get comments, well, what about this? And everyone wants to get butthurt. But the reality is, if you haven't been dating your wife, you haven't been leading the romance department, and you haven't been building emotional connection and intimacy, you're not going to have physical intimacy. Great sex is a byproduct of emotional connection and intimacy. And it's one of the big warning signs. Sign 2, if she leaves the room when you enter it, or always seems to be like not wanting to be anywhere near you, that's another warning sign. And the mistake a lot of men make is they think it's just a phase.
Yeah, it happens way too often that way. And that is something that I hear a lot of women asking, why? Why did he wait till I said, dude, I want a divorce, before he took it as something other than a phase?
Well, and they truly thought it was a phase. If they thought it was jeopardizing, their relationship was truly in jeopardy, most of them would have acted.
Yeah.
So, your personal perspective, how long have they been thinking about it before they said, I want a divorce?
At least a couple years.
Yeah. So, guys, we talk about in our community, there's a 2-year window prior to those words coming out of her mouth. Now, because communication sometimes suffers in this phase, we will hear women say things like, I've told him. And what she's done is hinted. And he has also taken things personal as an attack, or just thinks it's a phase, so you don't do anything to correct it. And that's the third sign. No conversation, not the ability to communicate. If one gets defensive, or one always just shuts down and stonewalls, one of the 4 horsemen, refuses to have conversations with you about it, you are looking at the potential. You're not going to be like the one country song talks about getting to know each other again after the kids are gone. It doesn't work like that.
No, you should not. I mean, you should not lose that while the kids are there. Because when you're looking down the barrel of empty nest, or right at empty nest, is the number one time that couples end up splitting.
Yeah, gray divorce is the fastest growing segment of divorce. That 50 plus, and people are like, oh, but you're near retirement. And she's like, I put up with it, with him being emotionally unavailable for 20 years. I'm done. And it blindsides a lot of men. And then there's the whole but, no buts, Would you rather be happy and in an apartment, or miserable in a nice house that's paid for? I mean, that's sometimes men look at, how could she do this? Doesn't she realize what it's doing to the kids? And that's another thing. The age of the kids factor in. If you've got 1 and 3-year-olds, it's one thing. But once your kids are, say, early teens, again, we're getting, depending on when you had them, we're also pushing 40s into 50s.
The gender of the kids makes a difference as well.
I did not know that.
So women who have daughters are much more likely to go ahead and pull the plug than women who have sons.
Wow. I did not know that. And my statistics are all on sex. You look up other stuff.
Well, I believe, if I remember correctly, that the understanding of that is that she doesn't want to send the message to her daughter that it is okay to be treated that way.
Now, this is where, as a man, you get to lead. Right now, you've got a month before the first of the year, basically. So the question becomes, if any of these three signs apply to you, what can you do now to start reversing it? And it's really weird. You got to get a little selfish. You got to work on yourself for yourself and realize, okay, I haven't been showing up as the kind of man I want to be. So work on being that man, okay? And if you're out there and you say, oh, this guy's got a program and, you know, they've got a strategy. No, this isn't how you do this. This isn't a trick or a technique. This is about you becoming an open-hearted, loving man who's emotionally available. And you know what? Sometimes when you do all of this, you realize you don't want to be married to her.
Yeah.
But what you want to do is give yourselves a chance, the best chance possible to have a version 2.0 loving, connected, and deeply intimate relationship and not have a divorce. And relationships change, we grow. But if you haven't been growing and evolving and you're not feeling an emotional connection, it's time for you to get to work. So if any of this applies to you, reach out below, or you'll see there's a link to the Mentoring Men community. This is what we help men with, and then through all phases of life. But it's time to start investing in yourself and start working on yourself for yourself. Also, if you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button, and hopefully you will not hear I want a divorce come January.